All right, what is going on? Me and Enzo welcome you to this banger of a video. In this video, I'm going to be going through the groundbreaking, industry-slapping follow-up method that I have developed on some of my teams that has taken ghosting leads to like around a 70 to 80% response rate, like wild response rate, okay? So this is literally something that I was kind of honestly a little hesitant to share because it's just such a signature move for the offers that I'm running and just such an insane way to be able to collect a ton more cash every month. But ultimately, my goal with this channel is kind of just to leave no stone unturned. So this is something that I've implemented so far on 2 of the offers I'm running. So 1% Club and Rick Fit, both very B2C offers. So it just lands very, very well on this. You can absolutely use this on B2B offers as well, just as long as you understand your ICP and you kind of tailor this method to them a little bit. But I will obviously break this down like full A to Z on how you can actually deploy this at the highest level. And before we dive into the specifics of this, I want you to always be thinking that like the industry is evolving, okay? Things that were working in 2021, 2022 really just don't work as well as they did now, right? The industry is evolving, buyers are becoming more sophisticated, okay? There's just a saturation of the market in general, right? So if you are still a closer that's sending kind of the Mr. Bean meme where he's like stood in a field, you're playing at the lowest level possible, okay? So this is about how you can take the ethos of that, because that is a bit of a pattern interrupt. It's humorous, right? It's going to create, you know, kind of just this funny dynamic of like, okay, this person has likability, but it's so overdone that it's not original, which means that you lose all of those elements. This is taking the ethos of that, but then developing it into something that is so personalized, so tailored, and so effective, it will absolutely crush. Okay, so with that being said, as you can tell from these videos and from my channel, I am not just, you know, typing in how to make content on sales on ChatGPT and just kind of running through some bullshit script. This is legitimately things that I am doing on offers that are violently scaling, that I know work. And obviously I've worked with some pretty huge names in the past. So this is really all based from like actual experience and really monitoring the data and finding out what works, okay? So if you enjoy that shit, like do the whole subscribing bullshit, whatever, right? Like, or don't, I don't really mind. But if you do want to fuck with this kind of stuff and I just kind of continue to leave no stone unturned, subscribe. Let's dive into the video. Catch you in the training. Okay, so we are about to dive in here. I'm going to show you all of the things that you need just to build this out. It's going to be very simple. There is one variation of this that will take a little bit longer, but is a little bit more effective as well. But ultimately, you as a closer should be looking for what are the little 1% optimizers that I can do, right? So I've talked about this in previous YouTube videos, right? Something like a camera upgrade, right? You get a high quality camera. That is a 1 to 3% consistent upgrade for a one-time purchase. It's very simple. You buy it one time, you set it, you forget it, right? It's done, it's dusted, but like the likelihood that you close 1, 2, 3, 4 extra deals from perceived authority is actually massive, okay? And you should be constantly looking at what will allow that to happen, right? Where can I do an upgrade in my process, in my setup, in how I hold myself, whatever it might be, to really take things to the next level, right? So things will be like backgrounds, right? Like right now I've just got a very simple background, but when I was really on sales calls all the time, I took a lot of pride in my background. I had like guitars on the wall, very high quality camera, amazing lighting, right? Like offset lighting in the background, like just these little attention to detail things, so that then reports really natural. They jump on and they're immediately in the pocket, okay? Now this is an example of being able to really squeeze the juice on way more deals every month, okay? So I want to just paint a picture here, right? I've got my little coffee in my Porsche fucking mug. I want you, this is how I train it on all my teams, every Saturday, okay? Or a Sunday, whatever, right? A day that maybe you either are not taking any calls or are taking less calls, or, you know, just you're gonna kind of allocate the morning to this. You wake up, you make a coffee, okay? You kind of, you know, just enjoy the little bit of freedom that you have as a remote closer, to where you can just sit on a computer sipping a coffee, and through this method I'm going to show you, make a fuck ton of money. Okay, so every week I want you to allocate 2 hours, maybe, right? 1 to 2 hours to this exact thing that I'm going to show you, and I guarantee you that this will massively compound. Okay, so you might see some results in month 1, but every single month, if you continuously do this weekly, you will see massive compounding results, okay? Because this allows you to be top of mind, which is the most important thing of follow-up, okay? People don't buy from the person that, like, they have the best offer or the best product. They buy from the offer that's constantly top of mind. They feel the most cared about, Okay, so you need to be top of mind. You also need to be human, likable, different, right? Like have all of these standout mechanisms, okay? And if you tap into this exact thing I'm going to show you, that's how you can do it, okay? So let me show you exactly what this looks like. Okay, so there are going to be two different variations. The first one is going to be what I would consider a little bit more safe and probably a little bit more compliant, okay? So I'm pre-warning here, this is not me giving you advice on what to do with your prospects, right? Because I don't want to fucking, I don't know, get held accountable for if a customer doesn't like what you've done, okay? The first one's much more safer. The one I'm about to show you right now, technically is a better method because it's a lot more personal. But again, I would be a little bit cautious with it and I would just be calibrated. That's what I'm telling my team, right? Be calibrated in the sense of like, how good was your conversation with them, right? Did you build a good relationship? Was it kind of humorous, right? Like understand these dynamics so that you can then choose what's going to be the best. So as you can see here, I have a very simple prompt in ChatGPT. And then there's a picture of Brad, who is the 1% Club founder. There's a picture of me. Right? And then simply, when you take these two uploaded images, we're going to create an AI image that is a tight cinematic full body shot of both of them. Sweat on the skin, golden hour sunlight flaring across the screen. The camera is a 16mm lens, shallow depth of field. The mood is calm before the storm, intense concentration. Right? The first man with a microphone is standing by the golden gates, welcoming the other person into the trading kingdom. Right? This is for a trading offer. This is the moment of truth for him, where the first man has just granted him a contract to becoming a professional, profitable trader. So this shot should convey emotion and high quality professionalism. Now, what did I mean when I say that there's two options with this? The first, this option that I'm showing you right here is you have basically a prospect with the offer owner, right? So it's going to feel very like tight knit and like it's custom to them and stuff. The more safer option, so that you're not like using the image of a prospect, is just to take whatever they said their goal was and put that into the image. Okay, so one person said on one of these sales calls around wanting like a $1 million trust fund. Right, so we created an image of Brad holding a big briefcase, and on the briefcase it says like $1 million trust fund, right? So still very, very unique to them, but it's not like tapping, you know, into their identity as much, okay? So let's just analyze this, send this prompt and see what comes out. And I'll show you a few different variations that we can utilize this with as well, okay? All right, okay there. All right, so as you can see, this is the result of it, okay? So it's very simple, it's very effective, and obviously it looks great, right? I want you to compare just a shitty Mr. Bean gif, right? Which honestly can drive some results. That's the crazy part. But again, it's like, okay, if that produces, I don't know, a 1% higher close rate, what's the likelihood that this could produce a 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10% higher close rate, right? Even if it was 2%, realistically, based off of the data from the results I've been seeing of this so far, it's way higher. But let's just say it's that, it's still double. Right, and if you constantly, for everything that you do, tweaking so that there's double of the outputs, game over, okay? So, as you can see, this is just hilarious, right? And it works super well, and then obviously you can just attach a very creative message to it, where it's like, hey brother, we're excited to have you a part of the trading kingdom. Can I welcome you to the family yet? Right, something like that. Boom, done and dusted, right? It just looks high quality. It's very contextual. It's a photo of them. It's set to go, right? The other variation, like I said, and I'll just quickly do a prompt, I'll just show the result of that, is just kind of linking it more to their goals. Okay, and then here is the next example. This one's very simple. I mean, the gate's kind of randomly disconnected, but that's kind of the beauty of it. Honestly, in a way, when there's like a little thing of it that's a little bit scuffed, it kind of helps because it's more of a pattern interrupt. But I want you to imagine how much of a pattern interrupt this is, right? It's just such a pattern interrupt. It just is like impossible to ignore, right? We've seen crazy response rates from this. Now, if you want to take things to the very next level, I will show you part 2 of this, which is just going to amplify all of this even more. But again, you have basically the two variations for the image, which is one with the prospect. Again, I'm not 100% too sure on kind of the compliance laws or whatever within that one, so I'd be a little cautious with that one. Or you have this one. Take the goal, right? Take the desired outcome that they talked about, and then recreate an image with the offer owner that has that linked, right? So it'd just be very powerful. I mean, if you really wanted to, you can get so creative with this, right? And the beauty of it is once you have like a good prompt, right? And I kind of showed you a very simple prompt that you can use. Once you have a good prompt, you're good to go, It's very low friction to do this, right? But I mean, one example that you could do is very much like you and the offer owner, if you didn't want to include the prospect. So it's kind of like both of you, right? So then there's the familiarity of you, but then the trust of the offer owner. So there's so many things you can play around with, okay? But now I will show you the next part of how we can amplify this even further. All right, so if you want to put this method on steroids, you're going to go to higgsfield.ai. And inside of here, obviously I already have an account, but you would go to this like upgrade section here, and all you would do is you would go to the monthly amounts here. So you got your plans, right? So you put it on monthly. Obviously this one doesn't show for me, it only shows on annual, but basically I'm on pro monthly, which I think is like 29 bucks, right? So nothing too crazy. And again, I'm always looking at like, okay, where can I front load a bit of money which will have a significant ROI, right? You would be crazy to think that $29 in a month, right? If you do this consistently every single weekend, for example, across your entire kind of like, you know, follow-up pipeline, you'd be crazy to not think you're going to close multiple more deals from it, okay? So if you're afraid to invest up front, then you're really not like designed to be like a good closer, right? Because we have this saying on our teams, which is like, be the CEO of your own role, and taking accountability of things like this, right? Getting creative, coming up with these types of ideas, playing around with things, split testing different outcomes, and then ultimately making investments to improve the ROI that you're going to get. That's thinking like a CEO. But anyway, with that being said, what you would then basically do, I will run you through how to actually make this then a reality. Okay, so right here, this is the crazy one. This is for Rick Fit, the football offer that I'm running. And then one of the closers on here again. Now he supports Barcelona. So the whole premise of that offer is helping you sign a professional contract, right? So I want you to just imagine receiving this as a prospect.
It's all yours, son. Welcome to Barca.
With the logo and everything.
It's all yours, son.
Okay, so sometimes audio makes a ton of sense. Sometimes maybe not as much, right? Like again, this is the playing grounds, right? Like this is where you get to have fun with it. And my most important ethos of this in general, let me flip over to this, is the more you can have fun in life and treat everything like a game, you will magnetize success. Okay, so here, I want you to be able to just have fun with it. You're kind of laughing as you generate these images and these videos. You're like, because it's just humorous, it's just crazy, it's kind of just fucking stupid, right? But ultimately, it's going to make you bank. So then it's like the most addictive thing. And most people are addicted to, you know, scrolling through the slot machine of their phone like a retard, compared to I can just sit here, make a shit ton of AI-based videos where I can just play around and it's just my total creative ground. I can have fun with it, but then it's gonna make me a shit ton of money. That's a different level of dopamine here. Having fun with something, making a ton of money. Okay, and when I look at things like this, like I used to send memes and stuff when I was selling on Iman's offer, right? We had like this really good image of like Iman. It was kind of like a mugshot of him, and it was like Iman's face when you ghost my DMs. That got great response rates. So again, you could do similar things like that, but honestly, this is just kind of taking the bread and butter of what was working then, right? And what kind of works with like, you know, the typical follow-up gifts and stuff that you can send, but just putting it on steroids and making it very customized and tailored. I'm sure with time, this is going to become the standard. And then before you know it, it becomes the standard, it gets saturated, and then people move on to the next thing. But as of right now, I have not personally seen anyone do this. And I think it is such a no-brainer method to be able to take things to the very next level. Now, no one likes to do follow-up, right? That's the nature of the beast. And that's why there's this very big lie in the high ticket sales space, which is like, you don't need to do follow-up. It's playing into what you want. It's playing into the ego. It's playing into like the lazy methodology of life. I've talked about this on the last video, right? If you're on a B2C offer, within reason, you obviously want to be like really holding them accountable, you know, pulling out true pain, really getting a stack of commitment, and ultimately like pushing them across the line on the call, because the likelihood they convert afterwards is drastically lower, because at the end of the day, the cycle that they have been in and their fear and everything creeps back up, and they will not be able to move forward because they're just in this kind of like, they're not stepping into the true identity of someone that's ready to change. You have to make them do that, right? But you will still close a ton of B2C deals if you're being creative and if you're being on the ball and if you're holding them accountable, even through follow-up, right? Now, you should still be optimizing to close them there and then. In terms of B2B, different ball game altogether, right? Like I've said this on the last one, if you are not following up in B2B, you are missing out on so many deals. It is fucking wild, okay? So again, I kind of talked about about this, but understand your offer, right? If you're selling to like super high wealth individuals that really value their privacy and things, I definitely wouldn't do the one where you're using like an image of them. Like I definitely wouldn't, right? And I know that all too well. Like I would never even try that. It would be stupid. Now you could probably still create some AI context sort of thing with the offer owner as well. Just so it's a little bit more like still unique without including them, but it's just about understanding your ICP. Okay, now I'm gonna just run you through a very, very easy, quick, efficient way to hit follow up, because no one likes to do it, right? It's not fun, right? No one wants to dive into the CRM and create their little smart view filters on how to do follow-up in the best way, but it will make you a fuck ton of money. So the easy balance to be able to do this is just to simply use a color coding system in your calendar. Okay, so how that works is literally you're just gonna have a few colors, right? Now you can add as many as you want, but if you go into the actual booking itself, right, you click the little pen, you can then pick colors and you can do labels on those colors, right? So you're gonna want a color for no-show, you're gonna want a color for like DQ, like they just weren't a good fit whatsoever and they'll kind of never close. Then you're going to want a color for closed, and then you're going to want ones for like, you know, qualified but didn't close, right? Pretty simple. You can add other colors if you want, but that would be the main ones that I would want, because then what are you going to do? You're going to simply pull up your calendar. Everyone that is that color of someone that's qualified but didn't close, you are just going to go into that. You're going to click on that event, right? And you're going to pull their number. You're going to paste it into WhatsApp or iMessage or whatever you're going to use. And then you're just going to send this follow-up method here. Done, onto the next one. You're just gonna bang through your entire calendar. And when you get a flow to this, right, when you've got your desktop set up in the right way, so you got like, you know, WhatsApp on one side, you've got your calendar on another side, you've got like, you know, your files there ready to drag and drop the AI image, you can get into a flow state, right? And this is what I used to do with Aman, right? It works so well. You can bang out like hundreds of follow-up messages within a few hours, okay? Such an easy methodology if you're being efficient with it. And that's the easiest way. That's like the no-brainer way to hit follow-up, right? You don't need to be in the CRM, you don't need to do all this shit. You just literally like, okay, on Saturday, I had 6 people that didn't close, but they were qualified. Click on the first one, boom, drag and drop. Onto the next one, boom, drag and drop. Onto the next one, boom, drag and drop. That's a way to be able to get maximum results with tiny little inputs, okay? And that's my whole ethos, right? It's like sales should be simple, right? You shouldn't overcomplicate it like crazy. The more simplistic it is, the better results that you will actually get, because you're going to be able to do it consistently, okay? So, like I said, this is something that you can absolutely implement, but if you just do it one time, it won't be crazy in terms of the results you get it. But if you consistently hit this every single week, you will get massive compounding returns from this. So with that being said, that is the end of the video. I hope that you enjoyed it. This is just, again, one tiny piece of the puzzle of all of the hundreds of different things that I am optimizing for and implementing when I take over an offer and when I'm running it to the highest level. So if there's anything that you specifically want to get an understanding of that I do on Teams, feel free to let me know down below. Other than that, anything that you need, you've got my Instagram, you can hit me up. I'm excited to give you the next video and keep just crushing out the value for everyone on here. Catch you very soon. Peace and love.